Hey, good morning and happy Friday. Welcome to Getting Started. And we're going to dig right in and just get started. Make sure my phone ringing device is turned down. Hey, listen, it looks like it's a great day here in San Diego, and we got some sunshine, no rain like that. And what I thought we would do today is just kind of recap and bring it together everything that we've talked about this week. 5 modes of time, 5 modes of money. And, you know, it's an interesting concept when you think about it. We get into a situation with our money and financial life where we want what we want and then give up what we desire, right? We want what we want, but then in doing that, we give up what we really desire. And so there's a distinction I'm going to make today between what you want, what I want, what people want, and what they desire, and differentiating one from the two. When we say things, then what happens is that's sort of how we frame it. And I think what happens is we sometimes get confused. I've been confused. Hell, I get confused all the time. And the challenge is we go through day by day, week by week, and month by month, and we might want this, we might want that, we might want a new car, we might want, a new motorcycle, maybe, a new skateboard or a trip somewhere, whatever it is that we want. And we want what we want. And then in the process of wanting what we want, we give up what we desire. Or is it a question of we really haven't clearly defined what we truly desire? There's a big difference, at least my experience has been, when I got clarity on all of this, a huge difference between the things that I want, all that shit that I wanted every day, and the stuff that I really desired. And the distinction I was able to get clarity on was it wasn't about what I thought it was. I thought it was about making more money, but it seemed like the more money I made, the less I had, right? Hate that feeling. And what I discovered, or what worked for me, at least making my transformation back in the day, it's been about 3 decades now, a little bit more than that, was that it wasn't a question of making more money. It was a question of setting my life up so I had financial freedom. And that was a very different thing. Making more money gave me the opportunity to get the things that I want, but never gave me the things that I truly desired. And I never really had a handle on what I truly desired because I never really sat down and had that conversation with myself, right? And then back in the day, my mentor, basically introduced me to this principle that I talked about yesterday, this little exercise. And you sit down and mark a time that you're going to take 6 hours, and you're just going to disconnect. No phone, no internet, no TV, radio, stereo, boombox, blah, 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 earpods, all that shit. Turn it off. If you're up for the challenge and you want to do this exercise, let everybody around your universe know you're off and out of service for like 6 hours, right? And what you do is you go with a writing instrument. I use a pencil and pen and a notepad. And you ask 2 fundamental questions. These are fundamental questions. Fundamental means that it's a structural issue. In other words, it's how your life is structured, right? So these are like groundbreaking questions, and designed to provoke. They are designed to provoke. What are they designed to provoke? They're designed to provoke thought, contemplation, emotion, and getting, something to move, right? So the 2 questions, and again, you can frame this if you're up for the challenge, and only if you're up for the challenge, and you decide to do this exercise, frame the 2 questions in your own words, right? My words are my words, your words are your words. And question number 1 goes down into, what do you really want? I mean, we've gone through the exercise, what do you want? Now we're going to dig a little bit deeper. And I used to say what I want, but then I discovered that was just like bullshit. That wasn't what I really wanted. That was just like, I don't know what that was. It was like some auto play, just hit play, and then that's the shit that comes out of my mouth. And when you ask a different question about what you really want in terms of defining your financial life, and for me, it was, I described stuff. I just described what it would look like, what it would feel like, and things that I would be able to do. And it came down to synthesizing that down to one clear, distinct difference, was that I discovered through that process that it wasn't about making more money, because I had already been in that path. The more money I made, the less I had. And that kind of pissed me off. I couldn't figure that out back in the day. And for me, it wasn't about making. What I discovered, that it was about creating a financial life that allowed me to have financial freedom. And then when I started describing that, that's when the shift happened. And that was when the transformation started to take hold. And for me, it was a big deal, because it accelerated, and I was able to move by leaps and bounds forward. I think mainly because I got out of my way. You ever feel like you're getting in your own way? I got in my own way all the time. I mean, all the time. And so what this did is it just helped me, separate the bullshit from, what I really desire, not what I want. What I want is what I say, but it's probably not what I really mean, right? And we do that. I mean, I think human beings just do that. And what we're doing in this exercise is sort of what I did back in the day. And I've worked with clients on this, and I can tell you it's very successful, at least in breaking through all the noise, the mind chatter, and really being able to be in a position that you can define things. Good morning. Let's see here. I can see a Teen and Ulysses and somebody else are there. So good morning, all. And I think, I don't think that the purpose of the question is to antagonize. If you're feeling antagonized, then you're using maybe the different part of your brain. But it is designed to provoke, not like you stick a stick in a bear at the zoo or something. I never did that. But provoke thought and provoke contemplation and maybe reflection. I don't know that we spend a lot of time with ourself. I think that it's probably a good thing to consider doing it a little more often. I do this exercise now twice a year. And it takes me a week to prepare for it, because I got to turn all this shit off, right? And I got to let everybody in my universe know I'm out of service for like 2.5 days, 60 hours. Don't bother me, because I'm not answering anything. I'm not responding to anything. And I go 60 hours. I also just make habit of doing that. I just fast for that period. And then I drink a lot of water. You got to have, lots of water. And I just go through one or two very important questions. Where am I really financially, and why am I not where I really want to be? Because that, for me, it worked that way in the provoking the thought to discover shit that I'm doing to get in my way again, right? And I think we all do that. Maybe we don't realize it, but it's sort of like, the biggest obstacle sometimes is our own resistance, right? We say we want change. We say, oh, we love change. But then when change shows up and knocks on the door, we lock the door and batten down the hatches, right? And we resist it. And it's not that it's really change. It's really, it's sort of an evolving transformation. We can call it growth. There's a lot of words we can use that describe it. But change, I don't think is an appropriate word, because that's not what we're talking. Change is temporary. It's transient. It doesn't last, right? Like changing a diaper. You're going to have to change it again. When you have a shitty diaper, you're going to have to change it, right? When you transform or transcend and evolve through a process and come out on the other side through that process, stronger financially, and have the ability to have the financial emotions in check, where they're not managing you, you're kind of guiding them. I think that's just kind of a cool thing. And so, however you frame the question, the first part is, what do you really want? Not the exercise we did a couple of weeks ago. What do you want? Blah, blah, blah. What do you really want? I mean, the stuff that you think about all the time, maybe even you feel uncomfortable saying because, oh, it's too much, it's too big. It's kind of funny how we do that. You buy a lot. Here's a good experiment. Buy a lotto ticket and then watch how long it takes you to tell yourself, I probably won't win. Less than 2 seconds, your brain will take you right off the cliff. Then why'd you buy the lotto ticket, right? And that's kind of how it works. And what we do is we take this big universe of all the shit in the world that we really want and desire, and then we look at where we're at. We compare and contrast against people that we don't even know, right? And then we start, instead of raising up to grow to encompass all of the things that we desire, we start picking and choosing and shrinking down all the things that we want and desire. I mean, that's like just bass backwards, right? And so this exercise will do one thing for sure if it doesn't do a lot of things. For me and for everybody that I've seen do it, it will definitely give you some clarity. There will be no confusion. And, it's not so much about the bullshit that we go through in the mind chatter as much as it is connecting with the things that we really want in our financial life. And really, you could take all 14 aspects of a human being's life, your emotional aspects, your spiritual, your relationships, your health, right? And you can do the same thing. You can apply this against every one of those 14 aspects of your life. And the process would still work. And the problem is, or the challenge is, that I think part of it is we don't spend enough time with ourselves, asking different questions, reflecting on where are we and where do we truly desire to be. It's not what you want. I mean, really what you want, the deep down stuff, the stuff that transforms your life and transcends taking you to the place that you really desire to be financially. Making more money is not about making more money. It's about having financial freedom and more choices to do more things. And it's like I said that in the comparison, people that tell you that money is the root of all evil, evil is the root of all evil. And people that make those kinds of statements are not looking at a bigger picture, I don't think. Or maybe that's their opinion and that's what it is. Money doesn't care. It doesn't have emotion, but it's not going to stick around if it's not being treated correctly. So if you're not a good steward, I believe, then the money will just kind of go where it wants to go, because there's no process in place to be engaged. And I see it all the time. It comes down to just working on financial problems and tax problems for hundreds of people over many years. It comes down to some basic stuff, and if you don't tell your money where to go, you're going to always ask where it went, and it's going to go anywhere. Auto pay, auto share, all that stuff, and that's the end of the game. That's how it works. So this exercise, to frame it this way, is designed to provoke thought, contemplation, reflection, and get you to spend time with you. And asking that question, what do you really, really want financially? Probably the things that are that big and that important, you could count on both hands and have fingers left over. 6, 7 things that are real big things that you really want. And then the next question is, why do you not have them? Why do you really not have them? Because that's the real fundamental shift. That's when we break through and start holding ourselves accountable. That's when we start breaking through and understand that doing our best is not enough. When it comes to our financial life, just like our health or anything else, we got to do whatever it takes to make it work, to make it happen, and to do something. And we worry and focus and, I mean, how much attention do we pay to stuff that just doesn't affect us or doesn't matter? It's like, geez, you took that energy and put it into your own financial life, you'd be a gazillionaire. And same for me, same for everybody. And these distractions keep us disconnected from the outcomes that we really desire. And it's really not about what you want. That's an immediate gratification. The minute you hit buy, and until the time it shows up at the front door from Amazon or whatever, you get that feeling of remorse, buyer's remorse, I think is what they call it. And that's a sign. It's just a signal. It's your radar going off telling you that it's not working doing that. But here we are doing it again. So at the end of the day, this exercise, when I did it many, many years ago, and I continue to do it today, over the years, I've been able to work myself up to a 60-hour period of time twice a year, man. And that's a lot of time to spend with yourself. You start thinking about all kinds of stuff. The focus really on your financial life is you'll find that you think you want a lot of stuff that is real big stuff. But what I found, and the first time I did this, I found this, is that the stuff that I thought that I really wanted wasn't as important as the stuff that was really, really what I wanted. And it came down to a couple of things. Financial freedom was a big deal. And then when my mentor said, well, what does that look like? What is it? Describe what financial freedom is. What does it look like? If you had it, why don't you have it today? And the truth of the matter was, because I was just screwing off and pouring money out here, money out there, and ran out of money before I ran out of month. And we've all been through these cycles, but I'll tell you, at some point it did shift, and it transformed. And I haven't looked back at that other than for the experience that it gave me to remind me that pretty remarkable what the human being can do when you have purpose and you get focused. Financial freedom, or however you define it, comes down to also having more choices. And having more choices is, wouldn't it be cool to set your life up in a way financially that you can pick and choose what you want to do every day. You don't have to get on the treadmill like a hamster and fight out, with traffic or whatever bullshit we have to go through to get ready to go to do whatever our business or our job. And it takes a little bit of time, I guess. It takes a different amount of time for different people. Here's what I know. If you do nothing, you get nothing. If you put no time into it, you get nothing in return. And so I wouldn't be surprised if I did nothing about it, that I got no return because I didn't put any time into it. And so when we're talking about making time for things, spending time on things, saving time to do things, investing time and wasting time, it's sort of a reflection of what we might do with our money. And you get the return that you are framing based on the time you put into it, or based on the investment that you put in it. And if you don't have that defined, then it's like me. I just, I'm not surprised when I don't get anything back because I didn't define it. And when you're putting money in, or you're putting your effort and time into doing something, if you're not defining some return like you would for your money, for me, it was, I didn't respect my time and I didn't respect my money. And it came down to self-respect, I think, a lot. It's like when somebody walks up and says, do you have a minute? And then 90 minutes later, right? It's not that they're disrespectful. It's you have no boundary. You haven't established a boundary. I would just say something like, no, right now actually is not a good time. I would love to chat with you. You're a cool dude. You're a cool gal. But you know what? I got shit to do. I got to be somewhere in 11 minutes and 27 seconds. Now is not a good time. Why don't we set up Friday? Hit me a text and we'll do something on Friday, right? But no, what do? We acquiesce. We don't exercise our voice. We don't own our voice. I think that's a respect thing. For me, it was. And then what do? We compound that by bitching about it and didn't do anything about it, right? We just sat there like some, lamppost, I guess. And that's a reflection of how we treat our money. It's a reflection of how we treat our financial life. For me, it was a couple of things. And it was, I didn't respect time, mine or others. I didn't have respect for the money, mine or others. And I didn't have the confidence to carve out and say what I really desired to have. And I think that the mentor that I had back in the day, it was one of the biggest steps in my life that transformed everything. And it was a process. It was a lot of stuff about, not that you have to admit you did shit wrong. You have to just own your own shit, right? You do stuff, it doesn't work. I don't know. Is it stupid shit? I don't know. I did a lot of stupid shit, right? It doesn't matter. What mattered was it wasn't working, and I did something very different. And I started asking different questions, and I started looking at things differently. I started looking at things like, it really, a lot of this shit is so petty. I mean, it's like so, here's how much I care about a lot of stuff. If you had a beach, right? And every grain of sand on the beach, right? All the grains of sand, how many are there? Wow, I don't have any idea. Let me tell you how much I care about a lot of that stuff. Go find one grain of sand and put it in a little jar and put a little lid on it and lock that up. That's how much I care about a lot of that shit. A grain of sand. It's so irrelevant and petty, and it's more bullshit, and it's a distraction, and it's not respectful to my time. It's not respectful to my the life that I've set up, or the people that are important in my life, and so I don't waste a lot of grain of sand. Talk to the hand. I'm not talking, right? And that's how it works for me. That's how I set shit up. If somebody's offended, that's not my intention, but I don't have any control. Well, you made me feel bad. Well, if I made you feel bad, I can make you feel good. Well, you can't make me feel good. Well, then I can't make you feel bad, dipshit. So, we get into this cycle of just nonsense that comes out of our mouth, and it's a distraction. It's taking us away from what we want in our financial life. What do you really want? Cut the bullshit straight on, write it down, and claim it. It's yours. You have the right to be rich. When did it become like this problem of being wealthy and rich? And it's like, the rich people are this and that. Look, that's one thing you just got to understand, that if you're framing shit like that, you're going to be on a treadmill for a while. Look at it a different way, because I know a lot of people that can do stupid shit whether they're rich or not. The second thing is, when you really identify the big stuff that you really want in your financial life, and it's a couple of things, less than 10 maybe, just ask the question, why don't I have this? Because it's going to give you a key. It's going to give you a path, and it's going to allow you to own your voice, own the respect that you have for yourself, your time, and your money. If you don't respect your time, nobody else will, right? It's like I had 6 sisters, right, and 2 brothers. I was the oldest of all those kids. And I remember telling all my little sisters, man, I'm telling you, if you have no respect for yourself, I don't care who you go out with, they're going to give you the amount of respect you give for yourself. And so don't be surprised if they do something you don't like. That's how it works. You don't respect yourself. You don't respect your own time. Nobody else is going to respect it. You don't respect your money. Nobody else is going to respect it. You don't respect your dreams, your desires, and your passions. Nobody else is going to respect it. It starts with me. And I have a lot of respect for who I am and what I do. I have a lot of respect for what, as hard as I work, and for my money and my time. Because if I don't respect it, it's like a doormat to the world. And I'm not a doormat. Neither are you. But it starts there. It's all this bullshit starts there. And when people interrupt you or keep talking, it's like a mirror. It's a reflection of how you see or treat yourself. So this exercise is designed for you to spend some time with you. Get reacquainted with who you really are. Get acquainted with what you really want and desire. Spend some me time on me, being you, not me, you, and do that. You're gonna find out that being accountable is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just different. Being accountable, we are where we are for every choice that we made. They're not good choices or bad choices. They're just choices that we made. And we did the best we could with what we had at the time. It's neutral. It's not emotional. It's not judgmental. But it starts with respecting your time, respecting your money, respecting yourself. And if you walk in that fashion with confidence, the world will respect you. They might not like you, but who gives a shit? Really, you're not here to win a popularity contest. We gave that shit up in the 6th grade, right? Nobody gives a shit. And at the end of the day, they're not. The world is not gonna. They're gonna give you the amount of respect you give yourself. So don't be surprised if people treat you like a doormat. It's just maybe that's like a mirror. I don't know. That's what I did, and it didn't work. And it was a bunch of bullshit that I didn't want to live with anymore. And so I got a mentor, and I just did whatever it took, because that wasn't working, and that was not the life that I desired. I don't know what your takeaway is after you do it. For those of you that are up for the challenge, whatever it is, it's going to be a big step, and the next step beyond that, I'll talk about next week as we wrap up the month in March, because once you have done something like this, you're going to be an unstoppable force, because you're going to recognize, maybe I've been a little emotionally lazy and not respecting my time, my money, and myself, or that around me, and you'll have that shift of awareness. And if you have that, you have more than most people have right now. There's just a lot of nonsense going on, and it's no different now than it's been for my whole life. It's just amplified different because we have these gadget pocket devices, right? It comes down to basic stuff. What do you truly desire in your life? How do you want your financial life to be? Why don't you have it? And respect your time, respect your money, and you'll start. That shit will start showing up. Money is not going to go where it's not treated well or respected. And if you don't respect money and time, it's not going to stick around. You're going to run out of time, and you're damn sure going to run out of money. It starts there, and it starts with the choices that we make. If the choices we're making aren't working, I would submit what worked for me is I found a way to make different choices, because that shit just wasn't working. And finally, when my financial life crashed and burned to the ground, I finally got it after I had nothing to get left to take, and never looked back. I've never looked back, and everything that I did came as a result of understanding. If I don't respect myself, my money, and my time, if I don't respect my health, if I don't respect, there's nothing's going to happen. The world is going to do nothing but treat you like a doormat, and you won't have time or money. So that's a wrap for Friday for this week, the 19th of March. Have a great weekend. Our group thing is Saturday, same time. I think we got something going out later today or in the morning. I'm going to put together the rest of the stuff of the exercise for those in the Get Started group. I'm looking forward to that. And think about the questions, and think about just where would you measure your respect for your time and your money for yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Where do you hit? The issue is to give you the awareness so that you will ask a different question. And it's designed to provoke thought, reflection, and contemplation. The part of your brain that's the most powerful part of who you are is a human being, and that's your desires and your purpose in life. Make out of it what you will, but if you have no respect for your time or money, you're not going to have either one. All right. Have an awesome day. Take care.